Something satisfying just happened inside you, and you cannot name it. There is no word for it yet, no category, no diagnosis, no label that captures the full shape of what moved through you these past weeks, these past months, maybe longer. All you know is that you are not the same person who started this year. You are not the same person who sat in that room 6 months ago, nodding along to conversations that drained you. You are not the same person who used to rehearse replies in your head, who used to shrink your voice to fit someone else's comfort, who used to carry tension in your chest like it was yours to hold. Something shifted, and it did not ask your permission. Here is what is strange about it. You did not announce this change. You did not post about it. You did not sit anyone down and explain what was happening. And yet somehow everyone around you already knows. They feel it. They sense it in the way you pause before speaking, in the way your eyes hold steady when they used to dart, in the way you no longer rush to fill silence with nervous laughter or unnecessary apology. They feel it in the space you now occupy differently. Not louder, not more aggressive, but more settled, more anchored, more still. And that stillness is doing something to every room you walk into. People are reacting to you in ways that do not match what you said or did. You are getting long stares from strangers, odd questions from coworkers. Friends who used to call every day are suddenly distant. Family members are making comments that feel pointed but vague, like they are circling something they cannot quite articulate. And if you have been paying attention, really paying attention, you have noticed a pattern. The people closest to you are the most unsettled, not because you hurt them, not because you did anything wrong, but because you stopped being predictable. And in a world that runs on prediction, that is the most disruptive thing a person can do. Let that land for a moment. You did not start a fight. You did not cause a scene. You simply changed the frequency at which you operate. And now every system that was calibrated to your old signal is glitching. Relationships that ran on your overgiving are stalling. Dynamics that depended on your silence are crumbling. Environments that relied on your emotional labor are destabilizing, not because you attacked them, because you withdrew the energy that was holding them together. This is not metaphor. This is physics. This is what happens when a vibrating body in a coupled system changes its resonance. Everything attached to it must either retune or detach. There is no third option. And this is exactly where you are right now. You are standing in the aftermath of an internal earthquake that nobody else saw happen. The ground beneath your identity cracked open. The old version of you, the one who performed, the one who accommodated, the one who dimmed, that version did not die dramatically. It simply stopped being sustainable. Your nervous system could no longer maintain the fiction. Your body could no longer carry the weight of being someone you were not. And so quietly, without ceremony, something in you reorganized. Not your thoughts first, your structure. Your posture shifted before your beliefs did. Your breathing changed before your philosophy did. Your tolerance for nonsense evaporated before you could even articulate why. And that is the part that confuses people because they are looking for an event. They want to point to something and say, that is when it happened. That is why they are different. But there is no event. There is no single moment. There is only the accumulation of 1,000 invisible choices that finally reached critical mass. The morning you did not check your phone first thing. The evening you chose silence over scrolling. The conversation where you said no without explaining. the relationship you stopped resuscitating, the mirror you finally looked into without flinching. None of those moments looked dramatic from the outside, but inside you, each one was a small revolution. Think about what a revolution actually is at its core. It is not an explosion. It is a reorientation, a shift in what the whole system organizes around. Before, you organized around other people's comfort, around their reactions, around the constant low-level question of what do they need from me right now and how quickly can I provide it. That was the gravitational center of your world. And every decision, every relationship, every room you walked into was shaped by that invisible pull. You probably did not even notice it most of the time because it was so constant, so woven into the fabric of your daily experience that it felt like just the way things are. Like gravity, like weather, like something you had no choice but to navigate. But here is what no one tells you about that kind of living. It is exhausting in a way that ordinary rest cannot fix. You could sleep 10 hours and still wake up depleted because the depletion was not coming from your body. It was coming from the continuous low-grade expenditure of energy required to monitor everyone around you, to read the room before you entered it, to calibrate your expression to whatever the moment seemed to demand. That is not living, that is performing. And performance sustained over years does something to a person. It hollows them out from the inside, not all at once, gradually, imperceptibly, until one day you look in the mirror and the face looking back at you is technically yours, but feels like a stranger's. And something in you, something very quiet and very patient, says, enough. Not loudly, not dramatically, just enough. And that whisper, that single syllable from the deepest part of your own intelligence, was the beginning of everything that followed. Here is what no one tells you about transformation. It does not begin with inspiration. It begins with regulation. Before you can think new thoughts, your body has to become a safe place to think them. Before you can hold a new identity, your nervous system has to be able to tolerate the uncertainty of not knowing who you are becoming. Most people skip this. They jump straight to affirmations and vision boards and goal setting, and they wonder why nothing sticks. Nothing sticks because the container is not ready. You cannot pour new wine into a nervous system that is still in survival mode. You cannot build a new life on a foundation of chronic dysregulation. Pause and breathe into that for a moment, because this is where most transformation attempts fail, and most people never understand why. They change their thoughts but not their state. They change their words but not their nervous system. They change their habits, but not the underlying frequency from which those habits are generated. And so the new habits collapse under pressure. The new thoughts dissolve when life gets difficult. The new words ring hollow because the body is still broadcasting the old signal. The container determines what can be held within it. And if the container is still organized around fear, around vigilance, around the constant anticipation of threat, then everything you try to pour into it will eventually take the shape of fear because that is what the container is built for. What happened to you, what is still happening to you, started deeper than mindset. It started in the body, in the way you began to notice your own tension without immediately trying to fix it, in the way you started breathing into discomfort instead of running from it, in the way you allowed yourself to feel the full weight of an emotion without collapsing into it or numbing it away. That is not personal development. That is neurological restructuring. That is your autonomic nervous system shifting from a default state of vigilance to a default state of coherence. And when that shift happens, everything on the surface changes because the surface was always just a reflection of what was happening underneath. Think about what that means. Every relationship you have ever had was shaped by the state of your nervous system. Every decision you made was filtered through whatever mode your body was operating in. Fight, flight, freeze, fawn. If you spent years in a fawn response, you built a life around pleasing others. If you spent years in freeze, you built a life around avoidance. If you spent years in fight, you built a life around control. None of those lives were truly yours. They were survival architectures. Brilliant, adaptive, necessary at the time, but not yours. And now that your system is regulating, those architectures are being dismantled from the inside out. The relationships that were built on your fawning cannot survive your authenticity. The habits that were built on your freezing cannot survive your engagement. The identities that were built on your fighting cannot survive your peace. This is why everything feels like it is falling apart. It is not falling apart. It is falling away. There is a difference. Falling apart implies destruction. Falling away implies revelation. What is being revealed is what was always underneath the performance. And what was always underneath the performance is something so steady, so clear, so quietly powerful, that it makes the old version of you look like a character in a play you no longer remember auditioning for. Imagine a river that has been dammed for years. The water behind the dam is still water. It still had the nature of water. It still wants to flow, to move, to find its level, to carve new paths through new terrain. The dam did not change what the water is. It just held it back. And when the dam breaks, the water does not become something new. It becomes what it always was. That is what is happening inside you. The dam broke, not violently, not catastrophically. It simply became structurally unsustainable. And the water, your true nature, began to move again. And everything that was placed in the riverbed during the years of stillness, everything that settled there, everything that made itself comfortable in the assumption that the water would never move again, is now being displaced, rearranged, carried downstream. That is not destruction. That is the river being a river again. If this is resonating with you right now, if you can feel the truth of these words in your body, take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss what comes next. I want to pause here and ask you something. What was the moment you first realized you were no longer the same person? Was it a conversation, a silence, a feeling in your body that something had permanently shifted? Share that moment in the comments, because someone else reading it might recognize their own experience in your words. Now here is where it gets interesting. The people around you are not responding to your new thoughts or your new goals or your new habits. They are responding to your new signal. And by signal, I mean something very specific. Every human body emits a bioelectric field. Your heart alone generates an electromagnetic field that extends several feet beyond your skin. This is not esoteric speculation. This is measurable. Instruments can detect it, and that field carries information. It carries the signature of your emotional state, your level of coherence, your internal alignment or misalignment. When you were dysregulated, anxious, people-pleasing, scattered, your field broadcast that, and everyone around you calibrated to it. They knew on a level beneath conscious thought that you were someone who could be pushed, someone who would absorb their discomfort, someone who would bend. Your field said, "I am negotiable." Now your field says something different. It says, "I am here." Not aggressively, not defensively, just factually. I am here. I am not leaving myself. I am not abandoning my center to make you comfortable. And that simple shift, that simple energetic statement is rearranging every dynamic you are part of. Let that sink in for a moment, because the implications are enormous. You did not have to say a single word differently. You did not have to make a single announcement. You did not have to confront anyone or explain anything or post a declaration about your new boundaries and your new values and your new non-negotiables. The field communicated all of it before your mouth ever opened, before you walked through the door, before you even arrived, because fields do not wait for permission to transmit. They broadcast continuously in every direction at every moment. And the people in your life, even the ones who would never use language like this, even the ones who would roll their eyes at the word frequency, they are reading your field in real time. They always have been. They always were. They just used to like what they read. Some people find this magnetic. They are drawn to you in ways they cannot explain. They want to be near you. They feel calmer in your presence. They trust you instinctively, even though nothing external has changed about your credentials or your status. What they are responding to is coherence. A coherent field is like a tuning fork. It does not force anything. It simply offers a frequency, and nearby systems either entrain to it or resist it. And that is the split you are seeing in your life right now. Some people are coming closer. Some people are pulling away. And both movements are correct. Both are the field doing exactly what fields do. Organizing, sorting, clarifying. The ones pulling away are not your enemies. They are simply operating at a frequency that no longer matches yours. And rather than rise to meet you, which would require them to confront their own dysregulation, they create distance. Sometimes that distance looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like criticism. Sometimes it looks like gossip. They will say you changed. They will say you think you are better than everyone. They will say something is off about you. And what they mean, what they are really communicating beneath the language, is that they lost their grip on you. And that loss feels threatening because your predictability was part of their stability. Breathe into that for a moment. You were someone else's emotional infrastructure. Your reactivity was someone else's sense of control. Your over-explaining was someone else's reassurance. Your shrinking was someone else's expansion. And now that you have stopped providing those services, the people who depended on them are experiencing a kind of withdrawal. Not because you did something to them, because you stopped doing something for them that was never yours to do. This is one of the most painful realizations of genuine transformation. You discover that some of the people you loved most did not love you. They loved your function. They loved what you provided. They loved the version of you that was convenient, manageable, and endlessly accommodating. And when that version dissolved, so did their affection. That is not a reflection of your worth. That is a reflection of the terms under which the connection was built. And those terms were never sustainable. They required you to remain small. They required you to keep betraying yourself in micro ways every single day. And your body finally said no. Not your mind. Your body, because the body keeps the score long after the mind has rationalized the situation away. And here is what is important to understand about that discovery. The grief is real. The loss is real. You are allowed to nasfanen, to mourn what you thought those relationships were. You are allowed to feel the ache of realizing that the love you received was conditional in ways you did not see at the time. That grief is not weakness. That grief is the appropriate response to a genuine loss. But do not confuse the grief with a reason to go back. Do not mistake the pain of clarity for evidence that the clarity was wrong. Sometimes seeing the truth clearly is the most painful thing a person can do. And the pain does not mean the truth is mistaken. It means the truth matters. It means you cared. It means you were real in a dynamic that was not. And that realness, that authentic investment you brought to connections that could not match it, that is not something to be ashamed of. That is something to honor. Because it tells you that you are capable of genuine love. You simply need to direct it toward people and places that are capable of receiving it. So let us talk about what you actually became. Because the title of this moment is not exaggeration. Something in you is no longer operating by the old human script. And I do not mean that in some fantastical sense. I mean it in the most grounded, practical, neurobiological sense possible. The default human operating system is reactive. Stimulus, response, trigger, reaction, emotion, behavior. That is how most people live. Something happens. They react. Someone says something. They feel something. They do something. The gap between stimulus and response is almost non-existent. What happened in you is that the gap widened. And in that gap, everything changed. You started noticing your reactions before they completed. You started feeling the impulse to defend yourself and choosing not to. You started sensing the pull to over-explain and letting it pass. You started recognizing the urge to seek approval and sitting with the discomfort of not seeking it. That gap, that tiny space between stimulus and response, is the most powerful territory a human being can inhabit. Because in that gap, you are no longer running on programming. You are choosing. And choice, real choice, conscious choice, is so rare in human interaction that when people encounter it, they do not know what to make of it.
You feel it, don't you? That quiet shift inside you, like something old is breaking apart, and something unknown is taking its place. You're not reacting the same. You're not thinking the same. Even the things that once controlled you no longer have power. And people notice it. They may not understand it, but they feel it, because you're no longer operating from the old version of yourself. This isn't confusion. This isn't burnout. This is evolution. You're shedding a limited identity and stepping into something far beyond what you were told you could be. So don't resist it. Let it happen. Because once you cross this threshold, there's no going back. And maybe that's the point.